Podfast is back. Michelle Johnson, founder of Ideal Intelligence. Whilst most AI consultants say you should automate everything, you've built your framework on saying what not to automate. So where do you draw that line?
It's interesting. First of all, you talk about automation, and I think one thing that the advent of generative AI has done has actually brought a lens onto the actual idea of automation. Automation's been out there forever. I would say that the majority of the use cases that people are coming up with right now don't necessarily need to involve an artificial intelligence in that automation loop. But if you're just going to automate the creation of a sales report every day, you don't need an artificial intelligence for that. You need standard deterministic computing. Automate the hell out of that. Just get that done. Then take a look at some of the trickier automations where a little bit of thinking is involved. And that's where you might want to bring in AI in some way, shape, or form. That might be machine learning, which is not generative AI. It's been around for yonks. Or it could be some sort of generative AI where it creates something new for you. The second of it, so the first one is automate. Figure out what you don't want to do. Figure out where you need light intelligence, where you're not betting the house on the result. Just schedule my email or schedule my calendar or to take a look at that. The second bit that I'm really interested in, this gets into the idea of super intelligence, is where you bring in the concept of augmenting human intelligence with artificial intelligence. That's providing the research, but it needs to be augmented. You need to tell it what to research, you need to be thorough on that, and then you need to do something with that research, and that's where some augmentation comes in. So those are kind of the three touch points I have for implementing. Should be automated because you don't want to do it, and it can be done with rules. This should be augmented because it actually improves the quality of your output.
Yeah.
And this keep human bit, shouldn't be touched by a robot. And that's how I've put that together.
So automate, augment, keep human.
So OpenAI, about 5 months ago, took a look at all of the uses that its free version of ChatGPT had been put to by all of the users that had been using it. They were able to classify that into only 6 categories.
Wow.
Yeah, only 6. So there's only 6 use cases for AI. First one is content creation, and that's what we've seen people do almost immediately. I think the first time, what was the first thing you did when you grabbed ChatGPT?
I said, can you write my cover letter?
Exactly.
Don't tell Mill Street.
Yeah. The second use case that OpenAI figured out was research. And that's, go out and find this using the deep research capabilities that's available in ChatGPT or Gemini. Third use case for AI is strategy and ideation.
Okay.
AI isn't limited to 100 ideas. So if you're doing ideation, you can go out to a Gen AI. Fourth use for AI is data analysis.
Okay.
And that's one of the traditional uses of it. When you're looking at machine learning, as simple as telling whether your email is spam or not spam. That is standard machine learning. Fifth is creating coding. So that's pretty standard. It's probably one of the things that generative AI is being used for the most these days. Number 6 is automation, and that kind of circles us back to that conversation about, or my initial point, where not all automation, probably the majority of automation, doesn't necessarily need a generative artificial intelligence involved in that. The common saying right now is that AI isn't going to take your jobs. People who know how to use AI are going to take your jobs. My argument is that if we are going to grow and exist in an AI-dominated world, those elements that make humans human need to be what we hone. Humans are good at context, situational awareness, and situational experience. We have ethics. Not all of our ethics are the same, but we are able to apply ethical judgment to things that we wouldn't necessarily trust an AI to do. But first of all, identifying a problem is almost a uniquely human ability.
Yeah.
And we need to be better at doing those things because AI is going to do the work that we've often hidden with. So we should be focusing on the stuff that makes our relationships better, makes our client engagements better, makes our brings value to our businesses and even to our personal lives that a robot simply can't do.
Could you give a real example of when you implemented that automate, augment, and stay human philosophy?
What I've seen, for example, business process outsourcing.
Mm-hmm.
Automating, they're going to be taking a look at their calendars, their emails and things along those lines. What they decided to do is very, very simple, but saved them an enormous amount of time and increased their client satisfaction, because before they created an email that was meant to go back to a customer of the company that had hired them for contact center work,
right,
they put it through an AI to clean it up. The amount of rewrites that were required because they just brought a little bit of artificial intelligence in to tidy things up and make sure that it was professional and nothing was missed was staggering. They
really
saved so much time on that and increased their client satisfaction.
I've got one last question for you.
Yeah.
Which is, what is the one conversation that all founders aren't having right now about AI?
The one conversation that they're not having about AI is how do they govern it. So, standard computing is deterministic. You're a math major. You know this. If this, then that. It's all deductive logic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, generative AI, by its very nature, is non-deterministic. Okay. Which means that it's first thing that we'll do is, you and I are sitting down with a large language model right now, put in the same prompt, we would get similar but different answers. You are never going to get the same answer out of a large language model. Oh, wow. We're never going to get the same image generated. So how do you manage that with a test harness?
You're so right. I've never thought of it like that. You're so right. So we need to figure out how to govern it?
We need to figure out how to govern it. And that's... So in financial services, going back to my background in credit card payments, when I was working in operations, even delivering projects, you needed to tell people that their money was going to, be safe, protected against fraud, everything along those lines. Generative AI that is not just giving non-deterministic answers, but occasionally having hallucinating hoofprint, you've got a problem. And if you are running a chatbot or something along those lines that all of a sudden is giving clients advice on their investment or making recommendations, or now Stripe has brought in AI agents, MasterCard and Visa have brought in AI agents, so they're capable of going out and making purchases for you, you need to make sure that it's not going to go out and make some pretty wild purchases with your money. So how do you govern that? How do you make sure that a generative, non-deterministic capability is going to do exactly what you want it to?
Yeah.
And that's what people aren't thinking about. Another thing I did with it, and this is probably was more of a machine learning place, is I attended my first point-to-point race in April, horse race.
Oh, I see, right.
Yeah. Had my ChatGPT with me, so I uploaded the racing form to it, and I asked it to help me with my bets.
Oh.
Yes. Took pictures of the ground. I gave it the weather reports. I took pictures of the bookies' odds and things along those lines, so it would calculate. It would tell me. I gave it a budget for how much we wanted to spend, and I asked it to make some recommendations, and it promptly lost all of my money.
No.
It couldn't have been more confident, and it couldn't have been more wrong.
Oh my God.
On every single one of them. It was tragic. Now, I wasn't spending thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was another let's see what happens experiment, but it was interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Michelle, we have a closing tradition on this podcast, which is where the guest, regardless of who they are, answers this one question.
Sure.
And that is, what is one message that you've never sent, but you wish everyone would receive?
Probably something around self-doubt. Probably something around, there's always that saying, I think it's attributed to Henry Ford, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. I've never really sent that. Actually, that's a lie. I said it to somebody yesterday on the phone call. But that's the kind of message I would give to founders and startup founders and people who are thinking about taking a jump.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fantastic message. Michelle, thank you for your time.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely brilliant, and I'm really looking forward to augmenting from now on, figuring out exactly what to automate and keep human. So thank you for coming on Podfast.
Yeah.